Our presenter this afternoon is Natalie Jones. She is our extension specialist for family health. And of course, our topic is your self-care menu. So Natalie, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
And I'm going to stop sharing so you can share.
Perfect. All right, so can everybody see that? Is that up? Perfect.
Yes, looks good.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about steps to self-care, and I call it a self-care menu because I really want you to kind of pick and choose what you like. We all have that set item when we go out of what we like to order, and so self-care is the same thing. We are all going to have a different favorite, a different thing that's going to help us reach our best potential for overall health and well-being, especially right now when self-care is so important. And so think of it as a way to kind of get some new ideas, get some reasons on why we want to practice self-care for our health, and then look at a menu, and then you're going to pick and choose what you want to use. So remember that it's all flexible. Pick and choose what you want. It's going to look different for everyone. So I want to start with what self-care is. And so self-care is selected actions that help you restore balance in your personal life as well as professional life. So it's going to look different for everyone. Right now, our realities have changed. We're spending a little bit more time at home than maybe we're used to. And so that can be a little bit overwhelming, and we can find ourselves with more time. And that kind of could lead us to heightened worry or stress, especially with different scenarios and situations happening. And so really without self-care, you're going to have these different types of side effects, and you may see it in your body, in your mood, or even in your behavior. So you may be getting headaches or muscle pain, chest pain, fatigue, even an upset stomach. Your mood could alter. You could have high anxiety, lack of motivation or focus, maybe some irritability, sadness, or depression, or just overall feeling of overwhelmness. Behavior as well. Maybe you just get a little bit angry. Maybe you're withdrawing from your family, your roommates, whoever you may be with, overeating or undereating, or even exercising less. And so all of this are changes that you're going to see without self-care. And so we want to really show you concrete steps that you can take that can help you cope with our new normal and to help practice self-care. So again, take this information, make it your own self-care plan, because what I want you to remember is that self-care isn't just something that we do once a week or twice a week. It really requires us to check in with ourselves on a daily basis. Listen to what we need, what our feelings are for that day, or even in that moment, and knowing that it's going to alter and it's going to be different throughout all hours, minutes of the day. And so we're going to really walk through what that looks like. So some examples of self-care are taking care of our physical health. So that could include nutrition, it can include physical activity, even getting enough sleep. So practicing overall quality health lifestyle practices is really going to help with self-care. Setting boundaries, being patient, and that can include with ourselves or with others. Being flexible, especially right now. Again, reality is changing and different things are happening, and so we're constantly going to have to go with the flow as it's changing daily. Again, practicing mindfulness and then engaging in positive self-talk. So all of these are examples of self-care, and we're going to break these down individually into what that looks like. So the first one that we talked about, eating well. So what does that mean? Simply put, it can be eating healthy foods that give your body the nutrition that it needs. You're fueling your body. So we want to emphasize fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fat-free or low-fat milk or milk products. And during this time also, I want to remember that what that can look like, it can be really easy. We can just eat the rainbow, having colors on our plate. Again, right now it can be fresh, frozen, or canned fruits and vegetables. All of that is okay. and you don't have to give up your favorite foods to eat well. All right, so you can still have your favorite, your go-to, whatever you're craving, but just trying to eat well overall is really helpful. Move your body, right? So we want to keep moving our body, and the CDC recommends that we get 150 minutes a week of aerobic activity. However, there was a study that showed that light exercise, simply 3 days a week, could improve happiness by 10 to 20% and increase your work productivity by 15%, right? So just getting out and moving 3 days a week. Maybe that's walking, biking, hiking, throwing a frisbee or football or soccer in the backyard, or even doing a home workout. So I do want to plug a little bit of motivation for you, is that you can check out our Fit Blue hashtag Team Kentucky Walking Challenge. It's a Facebook group that you can join. And while you may not be able to join the challenge in terms of being on the leaderboard, because it started yesterday, you can still join the Facebook group and get ideas daily on how to move your body, on how to eat well, and also how to practice mental health. And we're going to talk about that later on as well. So another part of practicing self-care is sleep, getting adequate sleep. So adults need 7 or more hours per night. And again, this is going to look different for everyone. So my perfect number is 7.5 hours of sleep. I wake up, I feel great. Someone else, it may be 9 hours of sleep, and that's okay. But really figuring out what that quality sleep number is for you. And so getting enough sleep is really important for people to stay in good health. It's going to help with our stress management. And again, eating well, being active, and encourages your body to sleep, and it makes it easier to sleep. And so then that increases your sleep quality. So think of it, all the self-care as building one on top of the other. They're all just going to influence each other in a positive way, and you're going to gain huge health benefits overall by watching what you eat, moving more, and sleeping. So one of the hardest things right now with being at home so much is consistency and schedules, right? So our routine may be a little bit different than what it normally is, but it's really important to try to keep a sleep routine and be consistent by going to bed at the same time each night and getting up at the same time in the morning. Another one is just to monitor yourself for disrupted sleep and fatigue. So that's just a tip in terms of just maybe figuring out what you may have done the night before or the next day that influences your sleep either in a positive or a negative way, so that way you can adjust it so that you can get those 7 or more hours of sleep a night. One thing also that we're dealing with right now is, right, with social distancing, staying 6 feet apart, and people being encouraged to stay at home and maybe only even interacting face-to-face with people who you live with, can be the lack of socialization. And being social is really important for your self-care. And so reach out to family, friends, and colleagues. Just connect, connect, connect. So that can be over FaceTime. It can be over any type of media app, Zoom, like we're doing now, Facebook Live, calling each other on Facebook video chat, whatever that looks like. Keep connecting, right? So meaningful connection, that emotional support is really important for our well-being. And so some ideas that I've seen is people even doing FaceTime or visual Google Duo, whatever that is, over dinner. And so having a meal together, even when we're practicing social distancing, that virtual meal can be really important for reducing social distancing. So another one that we want to talk about with self-care, which is really hard, is that with our routine and schedules kind of switched, is working from home. So a lot of people are now working from home, and that can be hard to set healthy boundaries for your work life and your normal life. And so keeping boundaries and being honest about what you need and what your lifestyle looks now, because you may have kids at home as well, is really important in setting boundaries and expectations for yourself and for your colleagues as well. Another thing, just in terms of working from home, to keep in mind is to try to stand up and move for a minute or two every hour on the hour. Maybe you set an alarm on your phone, or maybe you have a clock in your office or in your room, wherever you are working from home at. And just every time it's at 3 o'clock, get up and move a little bit. schedule a time for a lunch break, so making sure that we're eating well on top of our food and nutrition, fueling our bodies, and then try walking around the house while you're on a conference call or while you're calling a colleague for a question. So just keep moving, but set those boundaries for work and home life. Another thing to focus on with self-care, especially right now, is promoting teamwork. And that can be in the home, it can be in work, it can be with friends, it can be with anything. Promoting that teamwork and that knowing that flexibility is essential, right? So we're going with the flow because things are constantly changing. And so it can really help to develop plans that can assist different family responsibilities within the home, whether that's giving your kids some chores to do or splitting routine with your spouse in terms of you're on childcare duty this time while I'm working and vice versa. So I know we're already thinking outside of the box with a lot of our things, and it is especially hard when things go wrong or when things get a little stressful and chaotic around the home. And so just remembering that flexibility is essential and that it is okay. And so if you're feeling a little stressed out, asking for help, evaluating where you're at, modify and move forward. So just being flexible, accepting the moment, responding, and just moving forward, and always asking for help when needed. So another one for self-care, which is hard after talking about work and stress, is relaxation. So it's really important to learn how to relax. And again, it is going to look different for everyone. So the main thing overall is be good to yourself. So that can be positive self-talk, affirmations. It can be mindfulness. You can meditate, maybe even just laughing, adding humor can be really helpful. Practicing yoga, gratitude, writing down 3 or 4 things that you're thankful for each day, or even ironing, right? Sometimes doing chores, doing simple things, those tasks that we enjoy doing can help us relax and bring us back down. So again, learning how to relax is vital for self-care, and it's going to look different for everyone. My version of relaxation may look different than your version, right? And that is okay. So if we're having a stressful day and we need to relax, these are some of the go-tos that are really helpful. Writing how you feel, taking a time out, so that can mean just walking away from whatever that situation is, so that way that you have time to really think about it, to respond appropriately instead of reacting. If it's a nice day outside, go outside, get some fresh air, be in that green space. That is really helpful for calming us down and adding that self-care, being in nature. Celebrate what is working. So a lot of times we tend to focus and nitpick on things that aren't working well, but practice celebrating what is working and being excited about little victories and little wins. Another way to help with self-care is just to slow down, right? Take a time, just breathe. Maybe you just write down 3 things that day that you are going to get done, and you get those done, right? You don't need to accomplish everything. Just slow it down, check one thing off at the time. Maybe it's drinking tea or drinking coffee or just a beverage of choice that helps you relax. Wearing something comfortable. Maybe it's lighting candles, calling a friend, telling someone that you love them. Again, eating something healthy. Even looking at art can be calming and can be a version of self-care. Complimenting yourself, listening to your favorite music, or reading a book, or practicing mindfulness. So those are just some go-to stressful days, ways to practice self-care, way to relax, but there are plenty of others as well. So to get some ideas in order to relax and during stress, a lot of times right now people are on social media, are on the news, are looking at everything. And so sometimes that relaxation and self-care can be disconnecting and taking some time away from screens. I know we're on a screen right now, but thinking about taking some time away from that screen. So I want you to comment in the box, or even if you don't want to do that, just on a notepad at home, writing down what your favorite phone-less activity is. So we'll wait a few minutes, and if there are any comments in the box, then we will go through what some of those ideas are. Sally, are there any in that chat box?
Yes, they're flying through here, so I can't catch them all. Reading a book, walking, baking, um, being outside with your kids, scrapbooking, crocheting, sewing, finishing projects, hiking, genealogy. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Gardening.
And genealogy is a good one even to do right now while practicing social distancing, right? It's a way to connect with your family, stay in contact, calling and asking family members about their genealogy. Getting your family health history also is really important. So it can be helpful in a lot of ways right now to stay connected.
Journaling. Just sitting on the porch swing.
Mm-hmm.
Cooking, doing extra cleaning that's mentioned, and I missed a bunch because they were really going really fast. So, but that's a lot.
Love it. Perfect. So I wrote down some of my favorite phoneless activities, and a lot of it sounds like it's been mentioned in the chat box already, but crafts, and that can be even a Pinterest fail for me. I'm not very patient, so crafts are not the best, but they are fun for me just to get my hands moving and doing something. I love reading, painting, even looking at the stars at night. I like to walk out. It helps me calm down before going to bed, being outdoors. I've taken a lot of time recently now to start cooking more, listening to music, and then my all-time favorite is just being active and playing sports, right? So these are things that can help with self-care. Reducing our screen time can help with self-care, and really just moving our bodies, moving our hands, maybe with crocheting or knitting, or even just moving our minds, right? So all of this is really helpful with self-care. So one of the things that we have talked about, but we haven't really gone into in self-care is that we've talked about ways we could move our mind, move our bodies, move our hands, fuel our bodies. But a lot of times, sometimes it's being just mindful and practicing mindfulness, or maybe even meditation if you're at that level as well. And so mindfulness can be just being in that present moment and being mindful of what is happening and what is going on. And so I like to break it down into 3 just simple, small steps. It's choosing to notice what happens when you're feeling anxious, when you're angry, or even when you're happy. And then shifting to a gentle acceptance of whatever you are noticing, and then practicing it daily to tune in to what you're doing and what your thoughts are, and really figuring out how you can maybe respond instead of reacting. So being mindful is just taking time to notice, maybe accepting, shifting any thoughts or actions, and just continually practicing that. And it, again, can look different for everyone, and there are tons of different mindfulness activities. Again, I'm going to plug the Fit Blue Team Kentucky Facebook group, because we are going to also have mindfulness activities on there. So if you're new to mindfulness or new to meditation, that can be something as well that you can look into. There are a lot of great guided meditations that we're going to go through in terms of where you are able to sit and relax and just listen and breathe through a guided meditation. So keep that in mind of how mindfulness and meditation can help with our self-care and with daily steps and with the stress and different variables changing right now, and really figuring out what to do next. So always practicing mindfulness is a great go-to. And one of the things I love about mindfulness is that it can be done anywhere, right? So we don't have to be at a yoga studio, because right now we know that they are closed. And one of the great things about mindfulness as well is that it can be done simply with our breath. And we can take our breath anywhere with us because we have our bodies. And so mindfulness is an easy way to practice self-care, because all you need is yourself. So we're going to go through one of my favorite easy examples of mindfulness, and it's just paying attention to our breath and how our breath can help calm us down, whether we're stressed or whether we just really need a moment to just step away, maybe from work, step away from our computer, step away from our kids, and just go through some breathing. So sometimes people have a hard time when we talk about mindfulness or meditation because people think that, oh, that's something that just hippies do, or they have a certain stereotype of people that they think of when they think of mindfulness or meditation and mental health. And really that's not true. And so this is called box breathing, but it's also called tactical breathing because this is something that Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, they all learn about how to control their breathing because we know that they are in high stress scenarios. So depending on who you're talking to, I like to switch it up in terms of saying box breathing, or you can say tactical breathing. So remembering that it is for everyone and that mental health mindfulness is so important for our overall health and well-being that everyone should do it. So you can see this box right now and on the screen, and what I'm going to talk you through what it is it's holding 4 counts. So we're thinking 4 counts where we're going to start at that bottom left hand of the screen. You're going to breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Keep your lungs full. So you hold your breath at the top. You hold it for 4 counts. Then you breathe out through your mouth for 4 counts. And then you hold your lungs empty. So for 4 counts. So I'm going to ask you over Zoom right now, if you feel comfortable, to join in with an example of box breathing. So I'm going to guide you through this, just like we talked about earlier with mindfulness and meditation about doing guided meditation. So this is going to be a guided box breathing activity if you want to join. And so I will be counting to 4, and you will be breathing, keeping your lungs full, breathing out, and then keeping your lungs empty. All right. So we're going to go through this. So we're going to start. You're going to take a deep breath in through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your lungs full for 2, 3, 4. Breathe out your mouth for 2, 3, 4. And then keep your lungs empty for 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Keep your lungs full. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4. And keep your lungs empty. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So that's an example of box breathing. You can do that with your eyes open. You can do that with your eyes closed. You can do it 1 time. You can do it 10 times. Whatever you need, that is a great mindful exercise to go through just to bring it back. Being mindful of our breath can bring us back into our setting, into our self-care, into where we are, and really help with our overall health. So there are tons of other different types of mindfulness and meditations out there. That's just one example. That's an easy go-to, 4 counts. All you need is your breath and you're mindful. So this is how I wanted to wrap up because it's titled Your Self-Care Menu. And so self-care, again, everyone can pick and choose, but I wanted to have a menu set out for you. So this is a menu. You can pick your favorite. Maybe you want a 4-course menu, all right, of self-care. That's perfect. You can pick and choose. Maybe you even do all of it. So all that you need, right, is a few minutes, maybe more minutes, depending on your time, depending on your availability and what your schedule looks like. But taking a few deep breaths, we just did that in less than a minute, but maybe you do it for 5 minutes. Maybe just moving your body for 1 minute at the top of the hour, or maybe it's 5 minutes of stretching a day. Listening to your favorite song. Maybe it's 3 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes because you got to listen to it on repeat to really get the vibes going, right? That's cool. Maybe it's a meditation that you do for 15 minutes. Maybe you read just 1 chapter in a book. Maybe you write down your thoughts or what you're grateful for. Maybe you are able to go take a walk outside. Again, that could be 1 minute to 30 minutes to an hour, whatever you have available. Maybe you get crafty, do something with your hands, 30 minutes or more. Maybe you get lost in it. Or maybe you cook a new recipe, 30 minutes or more or less, right? So thinking about self-care menu, something that you can pick and choose what works for you, take what you need from it. Maybe it looks different every day. Sometimes I'm not feeling artistic, so I don't want to do crafts. That's just going to stress me out even more. So I choose something else. And so really bringing in that awareness, being able to accept your thoughts and feelings of where you are now, but knowing that now more than ever, it is so important to practice self-care and to take time for ourselves because it is a stressful time. And so reach out to family and friends. You can do all of these with a friend, with a family member, or you can do them by yourself if that's what you need to take care of yourself as well. So I'm going to leave it open for questions. If anyone has any comments or their favorite self-care menu that maybe I didn't list on here that you think would go well and that other people could learn from as well. If there aren't any other questions or comments, we'll stay on for a little bit longer, but I do also want to plug that we are going to be posting on our Facebook page an April calendar that will really help you maintain that basic health for the month of April. And we're calling it Healthy at Home, and it focuses on different types of ways that you can be physically active, but then there's also a mental health and brain health activity for every day of the month of April. So keeping that in mind, to be on the lookout for that on our Facebook page, on the Family and Consumer Sciences Facebook page, where you can get a printout of the month of April to be able to practice mindfulness, to be able to really think about your mental health as well as your physical health.
Natalie, it's been asked if you could show your first slide again.
Yes. We will go all the way back. Which one? This one?
I'm not sure, they just said the first one. So Laura Lee, if you can let me know if that's what you wanted.
Ones that had the list.
List.
This one?
There you go, I think.
So it's a good one to think about how with self-care, we can really be in control of our bodies, in control of our mood and how we respond and in our behavior. So really important to keep that in mind as well.
Natalie, there's been a question about the self-care menu or the calendar.
Yes.
And that is, as Natalie said, going to be available on our Facebook page, as well as all of the county extension agents in the state will be receiving it by email this afternoon. And so you can reach out to your local extension agent if you want to get it from him or her.
Thank you, Mindy. That was perfect.
And again, the question is being asked about this PowerPoint, how that will be available to those people watching.
If you are not an agent and you would like to have it, you can send a request to ukfcsext@uky.edu, and we will email that to you. If you are an FCS agent, then you can find it on the internal website.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I hope that you are able to take this self-care menu with you and to use the calendar for April and really make sure that you practice self-care, mental health, as well as physical health throughout this time.
Thank you all for joining us. We will be having another session next on Thursday, and that session will be at 10:30, and it's going to be with Dr. Amy Kostelik, and I've lost what the topic is for right now. I'm sure that will come to me probably as soon as we turn this off. But we do hope that you have enjoyed this, and feel free to reach out, as I said, to your county extension agent for Family and Consumer Science. They are all still working, so you might find them via email or social media or by telephone.
Family and Consumer Sciences Extension at the University of Kentucky. Our agents share research knowledge with individuals, families, and communities to improve quality of life. Building strong families, building Kentucky. It starts with us.